Jesus Christ, at the end of his life, was condemned and crucified along with two thieves. According to Roman law, crucifixion was intended to take as long as possible for the person to die. No vital organs were damaged, so it took 2 or 3 days as muscles used for breathing grew weak. Jesus was condemned for causing considerable civil unrest in Jerusalem. After they were crucified, Jesus and the 2 other criminals had a conversation. They had time to talk because crucifixion was a slow process. Their conversation is surely one of the most extraordinary in the Bible. The account is recorded in Luke 23:39-43. The first criminal speaks to Jesus with bitter sarcasm. He says, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." His words suggest that the whole thing is nothing but a terrible misunderstanding. The first criminal doesn't realize that by Jesus staying on the cross that he will ultimately save men from God's judgment. Jesus accepted bearing God's wrath in order that mankind could avoid it. His death didn't call into question his claim to be the Messiah. It proves it. The second criminal rebuked the first. He pointed out how all 3 men are the same. In Luke 23:40, he says, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation?" Then in verse 41, the second criminal says, "We are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve." But this man has done nothing wrong. He doesn't realize that Jesus' sentence of condemnation goes way beyond Roman punishment. On the cross, Jesus is condemned by God himself. Scriptures say he is smitten by God. The Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. Jesus bears Rome's judgment and God's judgment. Though he had never sinned, God caused his sin-atoning punishment to be substantially greater. Finally, Jesus speaks on the cross. In Luke 23:42, the second criminal said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And in verse 43, Jesus says to him, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." The Romans didn't know it, but their crucifying Jesus between 2 criminals was actually a fulfillment of prophecy. In Isaiah 53:12 it says, "Therefore will I divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong. Because he hath poured out his soul unto death, he was numbered with the transgressors, and he bare the sin of many, and made intercession for the transgressors." So what's the end result of this encounter between 3 crucified men? The first criminal has Roman condemnation on the cross, and then God's condemnation forever. The second criminal endures Roman condemnation on the cross, but no condemnation from God forever. He deserved the first, while the second is a free gift. Jesus, though he deserves neither Rome's condemnation nor God's punishment, he bears both on the cross. So he secured for the second criminal, who was every bit as guilty as the first, the free gift of eternal life. Many people are amazed how the second criminal could have been granted eternal life just before he died. He had never been to church, never went to religious catechism, never was baptized, and never confessed the sinner's prayer. However, his acknowledgement of who Jesus was saved him in just the nick of time. An amazing story of mercy and love. This is H.A. Graves.